saves to afterwards once the session is over.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's super easy. And then if you want to throw it into the drive or throw it at me and I'll do it, it's fine either way, whatever's easier for you.
Okay, yeah, I could just have Josh upload it wherever you want.
Yeah, the drive file's in the annual announcements. If he has a problem, I can give him access. He should have access, though.
Perfect.
I think I have it set to edit anyway.
Perfect.
Yes.
That's outstanding.
Nice, right? Works out easy.
It does.
All right. Give it a couple more minutes here. Let everybody tune in, and then we will get it started here. Welcome, guys.
Stone, good to see you, brother.
What up, man? Welcome.
Thank you.
First time here.
Yeah,
Hey,
this
what up?
is outstanding.
Heck yeah.
Sugar, is
Pleasure
your
to
hair
have you
purple?
guys.
Wow, outstanding. You know, I
can hear
realized
you. Oh,
this
baby.
evening-
Yes! Sorry, I saw the highlight off of the sun hitting her hair, and I'm in love. I can't help it. Sorry. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
I realized this morning that I was not fully using all the tools. I wonder how many people like me there are that are part of Pipeline that are not using all of the tools that are provided. I had no idea that this was an additional portion of what we could do, and I am
Heck
thrilled.
yeah, man.
Can I
Glad you
ask
made it
how
in.
you figured out that you were missing this? I'm super curious if we did something to change it.
You know, like a lot of people who have a desire to do what Stone does, but also work other jobs. I just hadn't. I had eaten the top portion, but didn't realize there was a whole nother section of dessert underneath.
I'm glad you found the dessert then.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
went through. Of course, I get the emails, and then I thought, well, you know, I have the time today because I work from home now. Let me just see if I can actually talk to Stone. What are the odds? That will never happen. I'll never be able to talk to him. So I went through and had to set up, you know, I had to go through verification, all that, which I had never done. And it opened a massive portion of the Discord that I had never seen.
Awesome, man.
Beautiful.
Well, welcome. Yeah, we got a huge Discord, the website, of course. We got some great stuff, more great stuff coming on it. It's fun. It's fun. You can also go back, rewatch all the sessions that we've had of the annual sessions, as well as the bi-weekly mentor. I don't know if you join in on the Saturday sessions, but we do those every other Saturday too. So,
yeah, I had no idea that there was more to it than what I was reading and trying to implement. And so this makes my purchase so worth it.
Well, if you need help finding anything, hit me up in Discord, and I will give you a little walkthrough.
Bird's our community manager. She's incredible. She does so much stuff. So if you ever got any questions, ask her.
Yep.
Yeah, we got awesome staff and everything. So it's super helpful.
You know, seeing you this month and you replying to my Twitter tweet, you know, I'm just telling him I was going to tell my mom to buy some lottery ticket, you know. It's a pleasure, you know. It's
doable, but that's what's fun. Like, this stuff's achievable. It's like, you know, Sugar Socks is here. She talks to me every single week. She's already got her hand up, so she's going to get a question. It's like, you know, you can make a lot of this stuff happen if you look into it and utilize what we got here, which is super cool. And that's why it's nice to have some of these opportunities and be able to do some of that. So,
right.
I just like talking to you, Stone. Sorry.
Yeah, you know, it's good. I like it. It's good.
Hello.
I always bring some good questions too. So it's
Listen,
awesome.
and I've got a massive question.
Okay, well, let's here we go. So it's just about 9, so we're gonna get started. I'm just gonna do a quick intro, and then we'll go ahead and just start with you, Robert. But we do have all right, welcome everybody to the Pipeline Mentorship session, another annual session. Great to see everybody back. If you guys are new, welcome. We're just chatting before this got started. Got a couple new people tuning in, which is awesome. We do these the last Tuesday of every single month, 9 a.m. So you can join in for that. Of course, we also have the mentorship sessions that happen every other Saturday. If you guys click the participants tab in Zoom or the chat, you can also pop the chat up. But you could click the little raise hand icon there, and then I'll unmute you. Give us a little introduction, some context for your question. If you've already got some stuff pre-written, that's awesome. If you got something in particular for me, that's awesome. Or it could even just be a comment or something else for even somebody else that's here or whatever it might be. These are really open. It's a little more casual than some of the general ones, but it's a good opportunity to kind of get some questions answered. It's kind of like office hours, and it's always welcome. So with that, Robert, give us a little introduction, some context for you creating content, maybe where you're at and whatnot, and some context for your question. And yeah, what you got?
All right, I appreciate that very much. So a little history, so that you understand why I started down this path. So I was the first person in the United States to be Super Mario Brothers on Super Nintendo.
Whoa, that's awesome.
And thank you. It's my 15 minutes of fame. I was in Super Nintendo, in an article in Super Nintendo. All of that is posted on my Instagram under my gaming company, which is Screwball Gaming. And I started it. Later, I went on to be number 2 in the world in Ghosts. I was number 1 in the world in Tiger Woods Golf, number 3 in the world in United Legends. I've been a gamer since Pong, so for 45 plus years. When the pandemic hit in April, I started Screwball Gaming as a way to keep the entire family, which I had gathered together, occupied. And after dropping $7,000 on it, the kids bailed on me immediately. And so I'm like, well, I'm not going to just lay down. I had no direction.
Yeah.
I had no idea really what I wanted to do other than, I wanted to put out to the world that we were gamers and we wanted to be part of, the gaming community. And so that was last April. We're not quite a year old. And I have slowly but surely found kind of a direction. And of course, this was a big part of that. So
awesome.
I have now landed on tournaments. We host tournaments, and we've had 2 so far that are free to the public. The first one was a month ago, and it was a 2-day event, and I had a little over 27,000 people show up through our website to view it. Our second one was this past Sunday. It was a 1-day event. I had 21,000 people plus show up through the website, and I realized I have made a grave error because I have promoted the website and I'm not getting click-throughs or the follows, and I'm not monetizing it other than I have built the community. Our Discord of active players is now over 600, 8,300 on Instagram. But the bulk of people that want to see what's going on go to the website, and they're not clicking through to help me build the community either through my Discord or on the Twitch accounts, which is Screwball Gaming Live or Army 1417, which are the 2 that I use. I use Screwball Gaming for everything through the week or through the month, and then I do fly around coverage myself and a business partner of mine, Adam from Lorimore Boys. We do over the top commentary of the tournaments, and we do fly around coverage, kind of like NFL Red Zone.
Yeah,
they're
sweet.
going to the website, but they're not clicking through.
Mm-hmm.
And the drop off is tremendous. If you go to my Twitch, I had like 200 people that watch it, but if you go to the website, I had 21,000. The question is, now that I have gone all the way around the corner to get next door, is how do I get them to click through and how do I monetize that? I'm not actually pushing any product or anything to them yet, just been building the community. So here I've got to this point and I can't figure out how to take the next step. Well,
first of all, I'd say that those are huge wins on a ton of fronts. And the fact that you're already making that much progress is huge, and that's a big win. Like, clearly you're building something for the community, you're building something around that, and even if it's targeted to a direct place, like, that's one of the hardest things in general, is to get people to go from one platform to another. Now, it's definitely rarer, I would say, to see people going to a website, and maybe you've got really good search engine optimization, and maybe you've got a good source of traffic, and people who are going to that.
Massive advertising is what I did. I pushed all the advertising at the website.
Sure. And I mean, that can definitely be good, but there might be ways to try and target that specifically to Twitch. Bringing over to people to Twitch in the first place is something that's generally a very difficult task. And that's where, even when I was trying to push everybody over to my Twitch in the past, like, it's something that's hard to do, but that's where it's like, you got to keep on consistently creating on it. So the fact that you've only done 2 events, you've got people showing up, you've got, hundreds of people watching on it, that's already a massive win. And consistently doing that, the next step is kind of figuring out, okay, well, what are some ways that I can monetize it? Maybe it is, and there's a lot of different directions you can go with that as well, right? Like, you can charge an entry fee for it, you can have a bigger prize for it, you can get sponsors for it. There's a lot of things like that, but a lot of times those sponsors, those people that are going to be interested, even people looking at a tournament, because there are so many, especially in gaming, that are going on. And it's like, is this going to be legit? How do I look into this more? The fact, if you do have a good, clean website, things are running well, it looks together, like those are all testaments. And I would say start building up some of those testament stories. Maybe feature a player, do a video on one of the players who won, so they could see like, oh, I can, this is a cool thing about this. And, create more of those story arcs and bring that out. And
Okay.
I would just say, you definitely, you want it to go, you want it to grow, and have, maybe if it's a merch, there's a lot of different things. You can even look at the kind of revenue pillar to see, some areas that maybe apply to you, but it's going to have to be applying some of those things. And I would say, a big part of it is going to be testing and doing more of it. I would look as well just for ways that you can natively embed your Twitch stream on your website. I know there's been some things with that lately that they're kind of limiting some of the embedding.
So if you click onto the website front page, it shows.
Yeah, that's good.
It shows the stream, and it shows currently one of my COs. It shows his stream, which is Icy Merc. And then when we do tournaments or whatever, I will go in and take that stream. And so that was why I did the website. Was it was so easy. They didn't have to have an app. They didn't have anything. They pull up the screwballgaming.com, and there we were on the front page. But now to get them to go from that front page onto Twitch, there's a disconnect.
And how often are you streaming on Twitch in general? Do you have a schedule for it? Like, is it something that you're consistently doing even outside of tournaments?
Not myself. I've used my channel to highlight the people that are in my Discord, my team.
So I think a big part of it is, like, especially on Twitch, it's kind of creating a consistent connection throughout each of the weeks. So even if you do have cool events and things like that, and that's something I think a lot of, even like you look at like some of the main video games struggle a lot with them keeping an audience around. It's like you want to have some type of persona, face, content structure, even if it's not you or one person around it, just helping to maintain some of the consistency of content for people, even if it's like an hour a day. And something that, is good, if it isn't going to be super regular for you, is like the fact that you are driving to a website. Again, to anybody, even if this is like YouTube or some other different platform or whatever it is, it's like, that's really good, because you're not, especially if you're not live all the time, you need something else where if people find it, they can kind of just, look into it more, discover it, join in on the Discord, interact with other people. Like, those are all really good steps to start bringing a community together. And I think you understand that, but it's, it is continuing on with the creation process, and to bring people to Twitch in particular, it is, keeping up with some of that content and giving more people to continue to watch and find through it.
Now, we did implement some of the stuff that I got in your last email about the algorithms.
Yep.
And I did see a difference. I told everybody before we went on, listen, I don't care how many of you guys come on, but I need you to comment quickly, back to back to back to back.
Sure.
And we noticed that got us noticed and got us pushed up, and then we had a flood all of a sudden. And so inside information, cool. That's great to have.
Yeah.
But that I just felt like from 21,000, that's 2% or 1% at 200,
Sure.
That actually clicked through. I got 80 follows, but how did I only get 80 follows with 21,000 people, that unique viewers that log on? In fact, here are the numbers here.
That's what comes down to, like, so many people are going to keep on, they see so many different things. That's where it comes down to, okay, what am I going to do that's unique? How do I tell people, like, okay, this is happening every week? How do you keep on getting more consistent with it and get that message out? Because there are ways, like, if you get into the algorithm on something too, like, that's a big win, right? But then how do you keep those people around? That's the consistently making content. And after you've done, let's say you've done 100 tournaments. Think about how much more you could talk about, how many more stories you could talk about, like how much more expansive that is versus not having that, and just kind of people figuring it out in the first place. To give you perspective as well, even on my YouTube videos, even people who know me, even though I'll get 500,000 impressions on something, and I'll get, in the first whatever, the typical click-through rate though, even with, great thumbnails, how to whatever, the typical click-through rate is only going to be 5 to 10%. If I'm getting a 10% click-through rate of people seeing my content and click through 10%, that's like industry insane. at that point. And like Mr. Beast might get like, who's like one of the top YouTubers in the world, might get like 30%. Something like that's what I've heard. And that's like mind blowing, insane numbers, right? So it's like, even like typically my channel's been like 2.5% to 6% click through. And that's just on a YouTube video. And that's very common because people are seeing so much different stuff. It's kind of like, and then, but if you can break it through, if you can get it in, it's like, okay, well, what's the next delivery? And that's what I would really focus on if you do have something that's like, yeah, and it's the same thing. It's not even like just telling, this is what's coming next. It's teasing it in the context of what might interest people. So me talking about, my top 5 snipers, and doing something like that, it's like, okay, well, I expand and I talk about my assault rifles and all these other things that I do in my streams every day. So tune in on my streams every day, and I've got consistent streams that are constantly happening, and then I can put out those big hit pieces that can do super well, which will, it's kind of like hero content that can do crazy, and you can, get some people on board and help people, go and really request, like even sometimes on my Instagram, I'll have people go over, I'm like, hey, everybody, let's try and blow this post up and, see if we can get it going and try and get some more good ones, especially if it's a really good piece.
So then last part of the question, and I'll give up the floor because I'm sure there's a lot of people wanting to ask. This has a B portion of that. So then do you recommend that all of the Einstein was once asked, what form of advertising should you use? And he answered all of them. And so with that in mind, do you recommend that all of them go to a funnel to push them towards one place? Or are we just trying to put content out?
It really depends, because you can be like, I've had a completely different audience grow and explode on Facebook, whereas I've had a completely different audience on YouTube as well, and a different audience on Instagram. And there's a whole bunch of different avenues to it. So yeah, I would agree. Like, I think there is a lot of different ways that you can even like I've had advertisements that I've done of boosts on Facebook ads. I've had ads that I've done on podcasts for other creators where I got them to talk about my content. And there's been different successes and different lessons that I've taken away from each of them. I think in general, if you can have one central hub, that can be, I think that's pretty ideal. Even if you multi-stream and you stream on YouTube and Twitch and all the different platforms at one time, I've done that as well. And I've had multiple thousand people watching me on 3 different platforms at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And ultimately, it's more efficient if you have all of that traction. Let's say if I have all of those people coming over to Facebook and we all blow the algorithm up on Facebook extra hard, and now it reaches out to even more people because it's such a big platform. That was part of my philosophy and part of the reasoning of me going for a full drive. Everybody, we're no longer doing YouTube or driving everything to this one place, and I'm going to do a more targeted, specific YouTube video. Now you guys can that's going to be easier to specifically blow that piece up, and I can kind of target things a little bit better and work my way into some of the algorithms harder. So I do think it is better to have kind of one central hub, but and that's where it's like, even if you just start there and build on something, and you can use your website as that tool. That's why I think playlists are so effective. You can build up something consistent there, right? And then see how else you can branch out. But that's going to be something that as you've, again, maybe you've done like even 20 tournaments at that point. Maybe you can create some content from some of these things, show highlights, show what it is. At that point, you can start pushing it to other places. You have more systems. You have a lot more experience. It's going to be like, you're just going to be firing all cylinders to get a lot of this stuff done. That's how it is even for my YouTube videos. Like if I want to put a clip together or something, like I already know how to edit. I already know how to export. I know how to get it on 3 platforms. Like it's nothing. I could do that in 10 minutes. But, for me to make a specific TikTok or something, that still takes me like an hour or 2 hours because I'm fumbling around with how to do the stuff. So it's like, that's where you're improving your systems and figuring it out, and gives you a good overview for it.
Listen, I thank you so much for this time, and for everybody that was watching this, I thank you for allowing me to have that first question, and I will yield the floor and hopefully learn some more. Thank you so much, Stone. I appreciate you.
Yeah, hugely appreciate the question. And the thing is, like, I know we get a lot of questions and everything, and we can't always get to every single thing, but I know this is super valuable for everybody here that's listening, even if they have the hand up. So really great question. Love it, man. Homan, I'm going to go ahead and ask to